Open an old pantry in your imagination, and you can almost smell oats, dried herbs, apples, vinegar, and a sack of beans waiting for supper. Welcome to HappyMind Nutrition, where we rediscover the simple, time-tested way our families used to eat. Today we are looking at the quiet staples our great-grandparents often kept close. Beans, grains, honey, vinegar, salt, dried herbs, root vegetables, and jarred or dried foods. This is general educational and traditional food information, not medical advice. Food traditions vary by family, culture, income, and place, so enjoy these ideas as part of a balanced diet and speak with a qualified professional if you have personal concerns. Dried beans and lentils were pantry anchors because they were affordable, filling, and easy to store for a long time. Families have long used them in soups, stews, simple bean pots, lentil patties, and meals stretched with onions, carrots, herbs, and grains. What made them valuable was not trendiness, it was usefulness. A small bag could become several meals, especially when cooked slowly with broth, bay leaf, or a little leftover meat for flavor. To start today, keep one familiar bean and one quick-cooking lentil in your pantry. Then plan a simple soup before the week begins. The caveat is that dried beans need proper soaking or cooking depending on the type, and anyone with special digestive or medical concerns should get personalized guidance. Whole grains and oats helped old kitchens turn a small pantry into breakfast, supper, and leftovers. Rolled oats became porridge, barley went into soup, cornmeal became mush or skillet bread, and rice or wheat berries stretched vegetables and broth into a real meal. Traditionally, these foods were not treated like luxury health products. They were everyday foundations. The simple way to bring this back is to choose one breakfast grain and one supper grain you genuinely like, then cook enough for planned leftovers. Oats can become breakfast, barley can thicken soup, and cooked rice can sit beside beans and greens. The caveat is that grains are not one-size-fits-all. Different bodies, preferences, and health needs call for different choices. This habit also makes shopping calmer. When a grain is already waiting at home, dinner does not have to begin with a delivery app or a last-minute panic. It can begin with a pot, a spoon, and whatever vegetables need using. Honey and vinegar often sat in traditional pantries because they added contrast, sweetness, sharpness, and preservation-friendly flavor. Honey was enjoyed in tea, porridge, baked goods, and simple dressings. Vinegar brightened beans, greens, pickles, sauces, and leftover vegetables. People have long used both to make plain food more appealing without needing complicated ingredients. To use them today, stir a little honey into warm oats or whisk vinegar with olive oil, mustard, and herbs for a simple dressing. The caveat is balance. Honey is still a sweetener, and vinegar can be too sharp for some people or certain eating needs. Enjoy them as flavor tools, not as miracle foods. Salt was one of the most practical pantry staples because it made food taste complete and helped preserve foods in many traditions. A pinch could wake up soup, beans, eggs, potatoes, or bread. In older kitchens, salt was not sprinkled without thought. It was often used carefully because it mattered and because wasting food mattered. To bring that spirit forward, season gradually and taste as you go. A small salt cellar near the stove can help you cook with attention instead of relying only on packaged foods. The caveat is important. Salt needs vary, and some people are advised to limit sodium. This is where personal guidance from a qualified professional matters. Dried herbs and spices helped simple meals feel loved. Bay leaf in beans, thyme in soup, cinnamon in porridge, dried mint in tea, and pepper over potatoes could change a meal without changing the budget. Families have long used dried herbs because they store well and carry memories of gardens, markets, and seasonal cooking. Start with a small, useful shelf. Bay leaf, thyme, oregano, cinnamon, pepper, and one herb that reminds you of home. Use them early in slow-cooked meals and gently at the end for freshness. The caveat is that old spices lose aroma. So a crowded cabinet full of dusty jars may be less useful than a small shelf you actually use. Before every vegetable was available in every season, roots carried families through colder months. Potatoes, carrots, beets, turnips, parsnips, onions, and winter squash could sit in a cool place and become soups, roasted suppers, hashes, and stews. They were kept because they were sturdy, satisfying, and flexible. To use this tradition today, build one meal around a tray of roasted roots or a pot of root vegetable soup each week. Add herbs, a little fat, and something hearty like beans, eggs, or leftover meat. The caveat is storage. Modern homes are often warm, so watch for spoilage and keep only what you can use before it softens or sprouts. Home-jarred and dried foods were the old answer to seasons that did not last. Families preserved tomatoes, fruits, pickles, apples, herbs, and sometimes meats or fish depending on where they lived. These foods anchored winter meals with color, tang, and memory. Today, the spirit can be simple. Keep unsweetened dried fruit for porridge, jarred tomatoes for soup, pickled vegetables for a plate, and dried mushrooms or herbs for depth. If you preserve food at home, follow safe, tested methods from reliable food safety sources rather than guessing. The caveat is that tradition and safety both matter. Old methods were meaningful, but modern food safety guidance helps protect the people we are feeding. A few sturdy staples can make a week feel calmer before the first recipe is even chosen. That old pantry smell tells a story. Simple foods, stored well, turned into daily meals with care. The most useful staples to bring back are the ones you will cook: beans or lentils, oats or whole grains, vinegar, herbs, roots, and a few preserved foods for busy nights. You do not need a museum pantry or a perfect homestead shelf. You need a few steady ingredients that make supper easier. This is general educational and traditional food information, not medical advice. So enjoy these foods as part of a balanced diet and ask a professional if you have personal concerns. Subscribe to HappyMind Nutrition for more old kitchen wisdom made practical. Good food was never meant to be complicated, so keep it simple, keep it warm, and enjoy it the way families always have.